80K.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. But
Yeah,
I can never do what you do.
I can never do what you do.
This is true.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I'm kidding.
No, it is true.
You know what though? You sent me a picture of your son in my GT, my Ford GT.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I would have known he was here. We would have started it for him. We would have done everything.
Oh, that was enough just to open
Next
the
time.
door.
Next time. Because we have a future car dealer or race car driver in our future with him.
Something. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he loved it. It was it's that car something.
Well, the good news is Omar Khan is listening to all of my advice.
Yeah.
I told him to sign Russell Wilson. I told him to sign Justin Fields, and I told him to go get Patrick Queen. You know, he did all those things, and now he's going to get all the credit instead of me.
Yeah, 3 for 3 on the Richard Bazzy.
I know.
Everything that you told him to do. Well,
in case you know, I know I'm a great poker player, but just in case you believe that, let me set the record straight. I did not do that. He did that.
No, he did not. Did you don't like Russell Wilson as a quarterback?
No, I do.
Now you do.
Yeah. Why? I knew you were going to remember that.
You did not. Well, I don't want to say you don't like Russell Wilson as a quarterback. You didn't like the move to Denver.
I did not like the move to Denver. That is accurate. So you
thought it was too much money, and now it's not too much money.
Well, wait. It's not too much money for who?
Well, I'm saying the variable that you didn't like to Denver was that they were overpaying.
Was their business decision.
Right.
That's what I didn't like. And as it proves out, it seems to be pretty accurate. But we are the beneficiaries. You know, and it's like I said, and I might have even said it to you, 26 touchdowns, 3,000 yards. I mean, how do you really ignore that? You don't. I like him as a person a lot. I like him as a quarterback. And I just didn't like the business decision from Denver and how they did that. And they again, I do this sometimes myself. They out-negotiated themselves.
I agree. They were negotiating against themselves and shot way over the moon for it. So when you can get him for a bargain basement price, you have to do what they did in the Steelers and bring him in here. So that's number one.
That's number one. And not to delay on number one, but number 1A is the person I really don't like is the head coach in Denver. He does not impress me. He did something really stupid last year. What was it? Something in the media. What did he do?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, he did. He did something really dumb. But anyway, he's the one I don't like, and I don't think Denver will find success with him. So regardless of the quarterback.
No, I agree with you there. I think that Sean Payton did all he can do in New Orleans, and that was the top. And I don't want to say he was a product of Drew Brees, but the more we look back on Drew Brees, there's a lot of Roethlisberger there.
Yes, 100% accurate. But okay, so you have him.
Mm-hmm.
You have Justin Fields.
Yes.
Who, to be honest, I don't want to make this a monologue because you have much more important.
No, go ahead.
Information. But what I really liked about Justin Fields was I can remember, I think it was 2 years ago he was in the draft, right? Or 3.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin took to him.
Like really, you could see all the clips on social media, and they were really developing a personal relationship. You could see they genuinely liked each other. And so I really like that. So I think what we did is we hit short-term, long-term, and maybe a hybrid of both of them, having some packages together or not. I don't know. I think these two people really do represent our future. And I mean, I'll really go on a limb and say that, but I'm really pleased with it.
I agree with you. I think people will overthink this, and people will get their wheels turning and try to bring up all these crazy scenarios and this and that.
Yeah.
This is the simplest scenario in the world, I think, at least how it's laid out. So Russell Wilson plays this year, and he is the quarterback right now. He is a bridge quarterback. He just so happens to be named Russell Wilson. And you think of all the stuff he did in the past, he's not that quarterback anymore, but he's good enough to be serviceable for you for a year. He does that as
I think he's more than serviceable. I think he's
but I don't think he's a multi-year quarterback. What he does is
because of his age, but let's say he wins the Super Bowl. let's say he wins the Super Bowl and he wants to go out after that, or does that inspire him to want more? I don't
No,
know. Because I'm going to
no,
tell you, Super Bowl is in their future.
maybe. But what he does for me is he allows time for Justin Fields with no pressure to learn the system, learn the offense, really take real reps in practice at times, and then launch into next year as the Steelers quarterback and get that redshirt year he probably should have had in Chicago. And then he becomes the Steelers quarterback and you sign him long term, barring he's just catastrophic in the limited appearances he gets or in practice.
Well, that brings up another good point, and that segues me back over. And we're not finished talking about that, but it does point to the same conversation about Kenny Pickett. So it brings Kenny Pickett. You say Justin Fields didn't get the redshirt year that he might have benefited from. Is that same thing true for Kenny Pickett? And I know he started behind Mitch Trubisky, but that's like starting behind nobody.
No, because Kenny Pickett was never as good from a pure player standpoint as Justin Fields.
No, he really wasn't.
No. He never's going to be. Like, Mahomes benefited from that too. He had Alex Smith.
Yes, good point. That's a very good point.
So, but one would never compare Kenny Pickett to Patrick Mahomes. Like, it didn't matter how long Kenny Pickett got to be the understudy. He was just never as talented as these guys. I
agree to that, but it's not anything that's really measurable. You can't really prove that theorem. But I agree. First of all, I thought Kenny Pickett looked terrible. I mean, on the things that I've seen on TikTok and Twitter, and I mean, he looks like he looks bothered. I mean, he really does. Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, like, this is news to a lot of people, and it is like, I don't think Kenny Pickett's a bad guy.
No, by all means, no.
No, but what Kenny Pickett is this, and I've said this all along, and like, I was kind of an outlier in this city for saying this. Kenny Pickett was the beneficiary of playing a college year where he was exponentially older than everyone else. He put it together for the span of about 15 games is when he was really good, and that was it. It was a terrible quarterback class, and he was also the beneficiary of an NFL franchise virtually 15 feet away from where he was located that needed a quarterback and got to see him every day. And it just all fit like a puzzle. He was never good enough to be a first-round quarterback, but all those variables fell for him. And it put him into a spot where that's how he ended up being the Steelers quarterback.
But if he wasn't ever good enough to be a first-round quarterback, why was he?
Because they thirsted and needed and wanted a Ben successor, and they did not at all.
There's not a quarterback taken yet. You have pick number 20, not one quarterback taken. There's other choices they could have gone with.
I agree with you. They should have taken an offensive lineman. I said that all along.
Right. Why would Kenny Pickett be their pick? I don't believe they traded him just because he had a hissy fit about Russell Wilson. I mean, if somebody comes up to me and challenges me, let's go, right? I'm not going to pick up the phone and say, "Oh man, will you trade me, please?" Just because I don't like the competition. So it goes back. It has roots deeper. The roots deeper where then all the drama starts. Did he refuse to dress for the Seattle game? Did he do this? Did he do that? Who knows? But something happened, and I don't know why. I still don't know why. I like Mike Tomlin an awful lot. He says really great things, and that Omar Khan is just somebody that I think is one of the best people in the organization. I mean, he really is a good guy. So what happened?
I'll tell you exactly what happened. I think
Kevin Colbert.
It's more of an educated guess. It's from some people that I talked to.
What?
That Omar Khan and Weidel and Danny Rooney, Art II's son.
Yeah.
Who will take over this franchise very soon because his father's north of 70 and he's just had enough. I mean, he's done all that he could do.
Okay, go ahead.
They caucused, they got together and they said the way that the Steelers have been doing business for their whole existence isn't keeping up with the Joneses anymore. We need to start a way of life where we cut losses much sooner and work at a much more rapid pace.
Okay, I get that. I get that, but go back a step.
Mm-hmm.
How did Kenny Pickett become the quarterback? Whose feet does that fall at? Where? Why? Did we misevaluate him? Did we?
No, I think familiarity became the safe pick, and they were very familiar with him.
Mike's smarter than that. I don't think so. I can't be that. Is it, to me, what I see was what a perfect fit. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields together.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect fit. Kenny Pickett didn't fit that style. I think Russell Wilson makes Justin Fields better, and I think Justin Fields makes Russell Wilson better. That's what I think. And I think so when you look at that and you're designing with a white sheet, you're doing white paper, white sheet,
right?
And I can have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields together, similar styles. One's a younger version of the other, and one has been to Super Bowls. He brings stability. He can push the ball downfield. He's 26 TDs for 3,000 yards. Russell Wilson, and he's 1.2 million or 1.4, whatever it was.
Right.
Russell Wilson makes that board. He makes the whiteboard. He goes up. Now I got Kenny Pickett and I got Justin Fields. And so who goes up in that? Is Kenny Pickett going to be the perfect complement to Russell? Well, we've seen maybe he's not. He might be, but we've only seen the more of maybe he's not side. And so when you're creating quarterback room and you want two quarterbacks and you have Russell, Justin, and Kenny just becomes the odd man out. Now,
yeah.
nobody knew, and it might not even have anything to do with his ability. It might have more to do with his style.
He essentially became the odd man out when it was him and Mason Rudolph at the end of last year.
Well, see, I don't agree with that either. Mason Rudolph is terrible. He's always been terrible. He played. I believe he played above his abilities, and that circumstance. And actually, what created this? Is it the offensive coordinator? Is it how much can you lay at his feet?
Well,
how much can you lay at Kevin Colbert's feet?
I don't think the story is the old offensive coordinator. I think the story is the new offensive coordinator, because one has to firmly deduce this, that whenever Omar and whenever Danny Rooney and whenever Weidl got in a room and had a consultation, they didn't necessarily give Arthur Smith, the new offensive coordinator, unilateral power, but they asked him who he thought he could work best with, both from a personality standpoint and especially from a talent standpoint. And if he would have beat the table and said, I'm the offensive coordinator, you're asking me to draw plays up, I can only win with Kenny Pickett. If it's one of those three guys, Kenny Pickett would still be here.
I agree with that. Your son likes racing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like telling your son right from the beginning, I want you to win this race. You must win this race. And you put him in the passenger side.
Right.
He can't win the race. You got to put him in the driver's seat. You got to give him the control and let him go. You have to do that. And I don't know if they did that, but what I do like is the collaborative things that they're doing between Omar and Danny Rooney and
Weidl
and Mike Tomlin. And I like that. I'm not sure that happened with Kenny Pickett. I don't know if that happened.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay. But again, then Kenny Pickett just becomes the odd man out. I think Russell and Justin really complement each other very well. And I think that they're learning from each other. And I love it. I really do.
Yeah. And the other part that people, I don't want to say they're forgetting about, but they're not bringing up enough. They just bring up the quarterback and they just talk about Russell Wilson over Kenny Pickett or Justin Fields over Kenny Pickett. The sense of urgency, Richard, gets heightened because of the age of the defense. That's a big thing. Like, it's hard to look at Cam Hayward or hard to look at TJ Watt and say we're doing all we can and have Kenny Pickett be the quarterback again.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
And they don't want to put those guys in a public bad spot to say, hey, Kenny Pickett isn't good enough for us. So, I wonder if those guys didn't have a lot of influence and say, hey, our last couple of years or maybe even our last year, like, we can't win with this guy. Go get somebody now.
Yeah. Well, so, and then of course there's a lot of things they did that are more addition by subtraction, which I love, which is the Deontay Johnson.
You've never liked him. You've never liked him.
Never, ever. I hate his attitude. I don't like his abilities and his inconsistencies. I don't like him. I thought the $18 million contract, wow. I couldn't see it. But so that to me, that one's addition by subtraction. How do you feel about Patrick Queen?
I think that there are some red flags a bit, but I do think.
What are they?
Well, the Ravens didn't pick up the fifth year, that he is a bit injury prone, but I like it a lot more than I dislike it. I think this is, again, the Steelers, and maybe this will be the guy. This is the Steelers' search, again, to try to still find the replacement for Ryan Shazier. It comes back into play, Richard, and you saw him and you know him. And if Ryan Shazier was a Hall of Fame football player.
There's no doubt. No doubt.
And he was on a trajectory to be one of the greats. And I'm talking like Woodson. I'm talking like L.C. Greenwood. I'm talking Ham and Lambert. He was going to get there in his career.
I agree. He comes in here all the time. I love him. I love him as a person. I love him as a player. You're right about that. And the one thing that I always loved about him was his speed, his agility, his football speed, not his 0 to 40 speed.
And if he walks into your office, which he has on plenty of occasions, and someone walks by him and doesn't know who he is, they think he's a college basketball player.
Yeah.
He's built that tall and that rangy and that big.
Yeah.
His ability to change a game and essentially take away everything from hash to hash was at the top of his game. And so the Steelers are still looking for that, and I think they hope they can get somewhat of a facsimile, not as good as that, but close to it, for a couple years with Patrick Queen.
So I'll say this. I love the Patrick Queen signing. I love it because, to me, he has that old school mentality. He doesn't hit you to tackle you. He hits you to kill you, right?
Right.
And he goes right through you. I mean, and I was always taught that in football at a very young age. You drive through them. He does that. He's fast. You talk about hash to hash. He gives you that. I only know about him from watching him play the Steelers. And every time the Steelers would play against them, I would look at him and go, man, why can't we get a guy like that?
Exactly.
And we did. And I think, not regardless, but if in fact he stays healthy, he has the ability to be a Jack Lambert, Dick Butkus, Ray Lewis. He has that mean streak. And I love that. And that's what it takes.
I think he can be pretty good. I do. It also depends on how much Cam Hayward has left in front of him and what the front three or front four, however they play, has in front of him and can keep people off of him.
Yeah. I really want Cam to do well. I hope he does. I hope he stays uninjured. He's a class act. So I hope he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. I think the Steelers now, though, now the focus turns on the draft. And with the Deontay Johnson move, it was a lock. People thought the Steelers were going to draft a center or a guard, and I think you probably still have to go there. But now you have to wonder if you have to go get a receiver. Well,
I think today we didn't sign the guy from San Diego, right?
San Francisco, yeah.
San Francisco. We didn't sign him. Who are you talking about? You talking about Brandon?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if that.
I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Williams?
Mike Williams, yeah. Yeah. But the San Francisco 49er guy would have been a real coup. I like him a lot.
They're going to have to figure out what they want to do at those two positions are key now.
I'm going to tell you, if we had used Juju Smith-Schuster the right way back when, he would have been that kind of guy for us. And I always did like him. But I think what you're seeing is, like you said, I think it was you that said it to me. This is not your father's Steelers.
No, they're willing to act quickly. They're willing to erase mistakes. or at least try to erase mistakes. And they don't. The people are on notice now. They're interchangeable if they don't perform.
Yep. And if they don't represent us the way they should. I watched that clip and I just watched it today, of Deontay Johnson standing there, not participating in the play with the guy running right past him. I can't even look at that. I can't stomach that. And I think if anybody was ever on the fence about him, that would be one thing alone to me that would make me get rid of him.
No, I agree. All righty. What else is up? Anything good?
Oh man, it's truck month.
It is truck month. I got a beautiful F-150 that I like. Truck month,
You like
truck month. I love it.
We drove one today that was an F-150 Lightning electric vehicle. Oh, you'd like that.
I've driven it.
Yeah, it's pretty slick, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, so we drove one of those today. We learned about Blue Cruise, hands-free.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that scare you at all? You like that?
1,000,000% it scared me. Well, first of all, you need to know, and you probably already do, I am a complete control freak.
No, get out of here.
So giving that up to a machine, really hard for me.
Can I tell you, I'm the same way, that I don't even like to put a car on cruise control.
I've never used it ever in my life. I'll never use Blue Cruise, but it's cool. But
it is cool.
I've never, ever, ever used cruise control. And I say it's because I like to drive. I'd rather drive. When in fact, it's probably more the control.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and I don't even mean it's like being in control. That car is like it's like your world, right?
Well, no, it's driving is an active endeavor for you, not a passive one. And I get it.
There's no the right thing to say. That's true. That's a very true statement. Can you remember that?
It's an active thing. It's not. You're not just along for the ride. You're in charge of the ride. I understand that fully because I'm the same way.
Yeah, but it's really cool to watch it.
Just to watch it, though. Yeah.
Just to watch it from the sidelines.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
is there anything else we have to talk about? Any breaking news?
There's no breaking news. It is truck month, which I'm excited about.
I'll just give you a laugh since it's been so long. We think about the young man that died that used to play for the Penguins.
Not good.
Tragic.
I'll tell you what. He was one of the fastest skaters I've ever seen. Like, he could absolutely fly.
I don't remember him. Could he really?
Oh gosh, yes. He could absolutely fly.
It's awful, and I hope that maybe it starts to highlight some more focus on mental health issues. I mean, it just really points to the fact that we need that help. And I'm sorry to him and his family. So
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. There's so much of a career where these guys are so in focus and hyper focused and out there, and then it just ends one day and it's over, and then you have to wonder how they can deal with it.
Yeah, it's really sad. Anyway, I wanted to just give him a shout out. Anyway,
all right, Richard.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
See you next.
All right.
Okay.